The first take is that, why do K-pop stans always want to find a reason to shit on something? Like, I saw a short from 2023 that was titled, 4th Gen Stans Have No Excuse, and it was Wheein from Mamamoo singing Watercolor Live with the caption in the short saying, this is an MR removed. Like being shocked. This annoys me because while yes, there are lots of untalented idols in K-pop especially in the 4th generation, but the whole, 4th generation lack vocals thing has always annoyed me because it's one of those things that makes me see that K-pop stans just want someone or something to shit on, since it's much better to shit on something than to say nice things about something. You're not gonna see K-pop stans on their channels be like, 4th generation does have some good vocalists, here they are, because they're not here to debunk. They're just here to shit on things because that gets them the views, so why do things the professional way, am I right? Also, it's funny that this shorts channel put the title as 4th Gen Stans Have No Excuse, while putting Wheein, an amazing vocalist, as a clip, because as I've said before, in previous takes videos and other places, that K-pop stans don't even know everyone to debut in the 4th generation, so saying that 4th generation stans have no excuse is a huge generalization when we all know that you saying 4th generation is just you saying 4th generation, but meaning a couple of bigger and known to K-pop stan groups that exist that people stan, that you've seen that come off as talentless in terms of vocals, but these K-pop stans act like they're so talented when they're not. You just haven't seen the generation properly and make assumptions based on a small handful of the whole generation where groups debut left and right within a year, idol or not, and I know that because I try to find every debut that comes about in a year, even if I miss a lot of them out, from every genre, and I know which ones are K-pop or have a K-pop vibe. So you cannot be putting Wheein in the short as some sort of gotcha moment when you're concluding a whole generation is vocally weak simply based on a small few idols' weak vocals. It's frustrating because the actual talented ones remain underrated and unknown because of people like you who have this preconceived notion about the 4th generation when you should know that there are vocally talented idols from the 4th generation. Sure, they may not compare to Wheein level vocals, but they still prove that good 4th generation vocals exist, being Didi from Rumble G and now in New L. 웃음 속에 숨어 가슴을 벤다 댓글에 칼날성 그 소리 밤을 가르고 마음을 찌른다 QOS Queens of Sound and Medic Jin, former member of Girl Kind, as some examples. Why do you guys think that 4th generation lack vocals? Y'all seem to forget that the 4th generation is a whole generation and a generation spans a few years. Plus, not every company is out here debuting a talentless idol, because reality check, with so many groups debuting each year and with each group having quite a lot of members, someone is bound to have great vocal talent. If we take 10 random popular groups, 10 random mid-tier groups and 10 random nugu groups from 4th generation, boy, girl or co-ed, dance performance idol groups or non-dance performance idol groups, because we're talking about vocals here, will every one of those 30 groups having a varying number of members be talentless? It can't be that there's nobody vocally talented amongst those 30 groups that exist. Plus, you using Wheein as an example with the title, 4th Gen Stans Have No Excuse, is weird considering it feels like you're trying to compare Wheein, who has amazing vocals, to 4th generation as a whole and that she outshines everyone in the 4th generation and that 4th generation stans have no excuse for the fact that 4th generation idols can't sing. Do you as a person saying that 4th generation lack vocals, not know or care about the fact that soft vocalists also exist? They also make up good vocals, and trying to use that Wheein clip is a bad example, because not everyone has to be a Wheein, or maybe an Ali, Taeyeon, Hyolyn for example. There's no need for you guys to be shady for clicks when you guys don't care about these things at all. If you actually care about these things, then you would be going about these topics properly and not just being like, 4th generation lack vocals, or trying to do some gotcha moment despite the fact that you lack more knowledge on the 4th generation than 4th generation lack vocals. Lots of groups debut within a year and within a generation that make you go, who? when asked about them, because you definitely don't know them, so you cannot sit here and say these things as if you know shit, when you're only gonna check out groups who come off as expensive because their company has the finances for them to get noticed more, and then cherry pick your examples to throw shade. A lot of your examples for fourth generation lack vocals is of course gonna be idols from a bigger budgeted known group. Your argument is just one-sided because you guys act like something like fourth generation lack vocals is true when y'all refuse to see the other side of the story. You never once did research to see if fourth generation do indeed lack vocals or not. You just ran with the idea that fourth generation are lacking in vocals because a small list of groups gave you a reason to do so, making you use them as the speakers for the whole generation. You guys seem to forget how big K-pop as an industry actually is, because y'all be talking about oversaturation of K-pop yet turn around and do this nonsense. What oversaturation are you talking about of groups debuting left and right when you ignore a lot of them just to paint a narrative? It's hilarious honestly how much of a clown you guys are just to act like y'all are saying something when you guys should go back to the drawing board before opening your mouth again. The next take is that I see people make K-pop songs that are underrated, videos or shorts ideas, and when they include mid-tier groups or groups out of Nugudum and close to being mid-tier, it makes me think about the song they added, which a lot of the times could be a title track. And what I think about the song added in these videos or short, is that, if this song is the first song fans think of when trying to name a song from this group because the group is known by quite a lot of K-pop stans, then is the song underrated at all? I know that groups specifically can be underrated and also their songs too, but you shouldn't just slap the underrated label to literally any song, because the idea that brought about this take was a short made about underrated songs and Purple Kiss's Penzona. Their debut was added to the short, which has 24 million plus views on the music video, and 2 million plus views on the one the K uploaded MV, totaling the views up to 26 million plus views, and 13 million plus streams for the song on Spotify. And that of course is one of Purple Kiss's more memorable songs compared to one of their recent songs Do Re Mi from last year, 2025, which I believe would be an actually underrated song by them, since that song has only 1 million plus streams on Spotify and 2.1 million plus streams for the music video, and 2.7 million plus views on the one the K uploaded MV, totaling the views up to 4.8 million plus views. You can see the difference comparing both songs to each other and which one deserves to be called underrated. People need to remember that underrated means that something is better, more valuable, or more important than most people realize or acknowledge, and a song like Penzona definitely had its peak if it reached to 24 million plus views on their official channel, including the one the K 2 million plus views, and having 13 million plus streams on Spotify, and the two for a debut song. So they definitely made a pretty big splash to reach such numbers that some groups barely reach half of the fraction of that. I've said this sentence many times before in other takes videos and such. And I know that known songs can be underrated too, but we need to see the bigger picture, since something like Penzona is not a hidden B-side that would get forgotten. It's a title track from a group having 300,000 plus sales currently, as a website that I look at for sales of K-pop groups tells me, and Penzona is one of their songs to help them reach that high of a number. The Into Violet album, which is Purple Kiss's debut album for Penzona, has 29,985 sales. Again, looking at the website that I look at for sales, even though I'm not sure how accurate this website is, which is more than many groups who debut who barely even reach 1,000 sales. So you know people were paying attention to them at debut and they were only gonna get more noticed after, even if they didn't reach popular levels. Even looking at clips like their Ararang radio performance, for example, which has over 100,000 plus views on YouTube. Live performances with over 100,000 plus views, with one of the live performances being at 1 million plus views. Form of Therapy, a verified music reactor's reaction to Penzona having over 100,000 plus views. Zati Farhani, a color-coded lyric channel's lyric video of Penzona having over 300,000 plus views. Their dance practice and performance video for the song both having 1 million plus views, shows that Penzona isn't underrated at all. A song can be underrated, but if you're just gonna call any song underrated because you see it as such, then at least do a little bit of research and background checking of the song to know if it's truly underrated. That's all you have to do, because if a song has high views, then it's not really underrated just because it's not as popular as you want it to be. People would most likely know that song over another song by the same group that has lesser views. The next take is that K-pop stans who say songs are getting shorter. I've said this before, but why don't you boycott short songs if it's a problem for you? You don't provide solutions as far as I see and complain about it a lot, so why don't you just boycott them to show that you care? Maybe you're just complaining and not boycotting, because what songs would you have left to listen to since all you guys are fixated on are short songs? So what's there left for you guys to listen to if you don't know any long songs since you think they don't exist? So I'm sure it's all talk and not actions with you guys since y'all would have left K-pop by now, and this is besides the K-pop stans who just listen to older music and K-pop because they view older years as releasing longer songs compared to the current era. Also, you guys finding K-pop songs getting shorter, which is becoming a problem, then show me how valid your complaints actually are other than just complaining. Show me the comparisons between short and long songs currently to show that songs are getting shorter. Because while yes, songs are definitely getting shorter, I just wanna see your proof and the examples you put up of different K-pop groups to show that you're actually showing that songs are getting shorter, rather than you cherry-picking certain songs from groups to fit the point while ignoring the rest. Any group that you use as an example can be questioned, because even if that group in particular has more shorter songs than longer songs, you'd be caught red-handed if you ended up straight up ignoring the 1 to 2 longer songs in their discography to just show the many shorter songs that they have in comparison, and that would expose you as someone just complaining to complain, rather than genuinely caring, and the complaints on your channel would make you come off as view-chasing, agreement-seeking, because of you slipping with your evidence-pulling. I've made a video towards the starting months of 2026 to show longer songs within popular, known K-pop and Korean artist songs released within 2025 and 2026 by bands, groups and soloists, so I've done the research and I can do it again just to see how right or wrong you are, if you do provide examples when asked to do so. Talking about songs getting shorter is one thing, but actually giving us a reason to show us that you care is another, and you have to give us a valid reason because again, if you name a K-pop artist and give an example from them having a short song, that same artist could be having a long song or two, but you only may remember their short songs. And if that's the case where a lot of the K-pop artists you name are ones that you can name their short songs for, but would never be able to name the long songs they might have, then are you even looking for long songs in the current era of K-pop? Because surely if someone cares about things like short songs, they would at least try to be looking for longer songs, no. They wouldn't just be making these complaints on their channel assuming that long songs don't exist at all, right? Surely someone would be out there who cares enough to wanna do some research amongst artists and check their music and lengths, right? It's not all just about, oh, this song barely passes 3 minutes, right? Why is it that nobody seems to show that they care about these issues they complain about? Songs are getting shorter, minors debut more, adults debut less, etc. Okay, and where are you in trying to find the longer songs and promote them? Where are you in trying to find groups with all adults and promote them or promote adult idols? Where are you in boycotting minors and short songs if these things bother you? Where are you not tuning into your favorite group's songs because the song is short and only tune in when they release a longer song? Where are you in boycotting all the short songs from K-pop artists and listening to only their longer music? If you care so much, then put some action into your words, because you can't just be a hypocrite saying one thing and doing the other. You as a K-pop stan should just leave K-pop if you're not gonna do anything about your complaints and remove the K from your channel being K-pop focused. Long songs exist, but you guys ignore them, so what's the point of anything? If you want the views and engagement, you can do it by other means as well. Not just using K-pop as a way to cry about something you don't actually care about but want to pretend that you do. If you're here to just crocodile tears cry, then why are you a K-pop stan? People who really are annoyed with songs getting shorter would have had it with K-pop and stop listening to K-pop. They wouldn't still be a K-pop stan even after them seeing so many shorter songs. If you truly care, then do something about it, or else the door you entered from into K-pop is right there for you to leave the same way. The next take is that I watched a new short released some days ago and it was about unique K-pop groups, but watching these already made shorts ideas, even ones made before this short, I've noticed before that K-pop stans will take a group that are popular but also popular that they know about, and will call that group unique even though plenty of other groups who are popular exist who are within that category the K-pop stan calls unique for the group, and these K-pop stans just don't know the group because the group are from a K-pop time period the K-pop stan doesn't know about. Heck, there are even noogas or lesser known groups who exist who can debunk the uniqueness of the group you call unique for that certain reason. Also, another thing I've noticed is that K-pop stans will call a group unique for certain reasons, but the K-pop stan just, as I've mentioned before many times, lacks knowledge, since these K-pop channels making these K-pop groups who are unique shorts, how many K-pop groups do they actually know? Do they know a lot to be making such an idea, and the groups they added were because they spent a long time researching and then came to the conclusion? Or are they just adding popular groups that they know about and calling them unique? Which I said above that I noticed about these shorts. I'm only asking for how they came to this conclusion, because if you take me as a channel, I made a video once titled, Unique Korean Artist Songs, about 3 to 4 years ago. I don't remember when, and I added songs that I thought were unique, and looking back at that video now I've realized that a lot of what was added into the video weren't as unique as I thought at the time, because I was stupid then, and some of the types of songs added were more commonly done than I'd thought. And wanting to make the idea now as a part 2, I cannot do it, because what would actually classify as unique where I can be like, yes, this is actually unique. Since now that I'm more aware as a K-pop stan and Korean music listener, I'm more cautious on what I promote under labels, even if I still make mistakes here and there, and not just label songs or artists as certain categories when they're not, because I'd end up coming off as a hypocrite since I make a lot of take calling out such things, lol. But yeah, what are unique about groups that are mixed members? For example, Card are always added as unique for this, when Coyote, Cool, Rura, F1RST are co-ed groups debuting before Card, and Checkmate, DNA, Deluxe and April Youth debuting after Card, not to mention the many other co-ed groups that exist that I didn't name because this is not a co-ed groups playlist video. I just hate when people call a group unique, singling them out as different, while the many others who may exist that are making these common in K-pop are ignored because K-pop channels never make these ideas properly. Take this for example, if 100 idol K-pop groups debut in a year, you won't check out all 100 debuts because, like everyone else, you'll mostly check out the bigger budgeted debuts pushed out there for you to notice. Which is not a bad thing since you can listen to whoever you want, but to make this point, you checking out only a small handful of those 100 groups makes these shorts worse, because someone from the small handful of those 100 debuts that were checked out gets called unique, but the remaining debuts of the 100 groups that go unnoticed also will have someone doing the same thing as the group called unique, so where's the uniqueness in that? It's just that K-pop stans need to build up their knowledge when they make these types of shorts so they know they're prepared, because even if they may come off as prepared for these types of short ideas, who's to say that they did the research and didn't just find the first thing related to this short's idea that someone else already did and documented online? The next take is that, I watched a short that was about the most hated encore stages, and one comment said, the encores are always how idols get accused of being bad singers, and this comment stuck out to me because it comes off as defensive. It comes off as a, why do we assume the worst? type of comment, like we're not allowed to do that. Why is it that we're always the first to wanna be defending idols but never wanna see the negatives and point them out? Many groups debut into K-pop with groups having loads of idols that accompany debuts, and not everyone is talented and the idol made it in somehow because the company chose them. Some of these idols are horrible at singing, maybe due to lack of training despite possibly training for some time, or maybe because they cannot actually sing, and if someone is making a short idea like this short again, for example, the most hated encore stages, why is our first thought to write a defensive comment as if the short can't be true? Sure, the short may have picked some of the clips wrong for the certain idea, but the short could have also picked right. Some people like the comment I shared above about encore stages and assuming idols are bad singers, and another comment on the same short saying, a reminder that they can't be perfect all the time. They nailed other performances with the same song, as defensive behavior that I do not like. Taking this new comment that I just wrote into the topic, because while I agree that singers cannot sound perfect all the time, how does the commenter know that they, the group, nailed other performances with the same song? Encore stages are live without backing tracks, without lip sync, without dancing, etc., and they mainly just stand around singing. If they sound bad here on the encore stage, then they can't sound good anywhere else for other performances, since those performances could be pre-recorded, fake, lip-synced, and other things that make the performance good. How can other performances be good for a group, for a song with dancing, when they sound bad singing it completely live with no dancing on an encore stage? It should be easier to sing when no dancing is involved. And this is why I hate comments like these, and I do wanna believe also that these types of comments coming off as defensive mean well, but they just to me feel like people who are ready with their words because they're not just regular people commenting things but rather K-pop stans who go into defense mode simply because the topic of the video, short is a negative one with titles like, hated, bad, worst, etc. People need to stop having to defend things all the time when not needed to, because not everything needs defending, and the reason someone is added to an idea for a short or video that is negative could actually be that they're bad, worst, hated, and for good reason. There's no need for justifications, and we accept that these things are possibly true. Not everything is sunshine and rainbows because worst, bad, and hated things exist in K-pop, and it's not always because people wanna shit on someone because those people are toxic. Also, I know that this take sounds contradictory to the first take about fourth generation lacking vocals and K-pop stans wanting to shit on someone, something, but that take is different. For that, fourth generation lack vocals take, people actually use this lacking vocals as an excuse to shit on the fourth generation, but their shitting on the fourth generation is due to lack of knowledge on the fourth generation as a whole, and so they cherry pick their examples based on a small handful of groups from the mainstream side and act like those groups speak for the whole generation. I'm defending fourth generation vocals in the sense of calling out K-pop stans for their lack of knowledge, nuance, and critical thinking skills. Here in this encore stage's take, K-pop stans are defending idols groups simply because they think the creator is shitting on the idol or group, and not because they're trying to see that the creator doesn't know anything. They just think that anytime a short like this comes about, the K-pop stan always assumes it's because the creator of the short is being a shitbag rather than honest and truthful. So I'm calling out defensive stans who act like criticism isn't allowed because they think that criticism is equaling to hate, when it's not always the case. The next take is that I got a notification for a comment that I replied to and revisited it. It was a comment on S2 It's What I Want, their debut song MV, and the comment read, they would be really popular if they debuted under Hybe, and while I've gotten annoyed at comments like these before, especially for bigger labels, I'm not making this take to get angry at the commenter because the comment made me realize something. While yes, S2IT would get really popular debuting under Hybe, but their music wouldn't be the same as What I Want. Sure, they'd get comebacks often, more opportunities to promote live and lots of fans and streams, but we wouldn't know their music and their sound. If you look at What I Want originally, it's a really cute, vibrant and bright song. And so we see this song and may assume that this will be their direction to make more cute songs. And yes, Hybe can show us that too from the group's debut song, but look at Illit. They have had bright, fun and upbeat music up until That's Me that released, which was a complete switch up. Look at Le Sserafim having so many different sounds, as far as I see, and so we don't know their signature sound. Saying that someone would be more popular debuting under a bigger label like Hybe is common sense, but I wouldn't want people to debut under companies like these simply because you'd look at the groups under companies like Hybe and wonder, would you really want a Nugu group under that company because popularity is easier to get? Because companies like Hybe are a hit or miss when it comes to music. Plus, Monster Brain, despite clearly having a smaller budget, may make better music for S2IT in terms of being actually good. Hybe can make good music, but we cannot always guarantee that it's good music all the time. And I myself would want someone to have good music over popularity, because if someone is popular and has trash music, then that's the breeding ground for toxicity to spread, since K-pop stans are always hating on something for no reason whatsoever. So, I wouldn't want S2IT to be under Hybe for the popularity. I would rather them be under Monster Brain, who may not, I'm unsure about this, be able to give them comebacks often but might be able to make good music in time when S2IT can make a comeback, unlike Hybe who can make comebacks often, but Hybe also focuses so much on quantity over quality nowadays with the amount of remixes of songs they make, and also with them doing mashups for some reason. I'd rather just S2IT stay under Monster Brain so they can be S2IT and not S2 much. The next take is that, sometimes there are certain groups in K-pop that can be known to the public even though they may come off as a group that is not noticed as much as other groups. For example, Dodri. The traditional Korean music K-pop duo, where some people may genuinely believe that they are not as known and they are not really that popular even though they are from a JYP sub-label, and the thing is maybe in the average K-pop space they are not being talked about much, and maybe that's why you think that a group like Dadri may come of as unknown and they may not be as popular as other groups within JYP, but the thing is you have to look at the target audience of the group so that way you can know if a group is popular or not. Because if you say a group like Dadri isn't popular, then you may be looking at the average K-pop stan for you to have come to that conclusion even though the average K-pop stan doesn't really listen to traditional Korean music, which is Dadri's sound, and the K-pop stan would have to get adapted to the sound since Dadri do not only do the sound but the traditional Korean vocals as well. How can you say a group like Dadri isn't known, if you believe that, when you're not looking in the right spaces? If they're not known amongst K-pop stans, then it doesn't mean they're not known anywhere else, since K-pop stans are not the only ones who exist to decide the noticeability of a group, because remember that local Korean music listeners and an average K-pop stan, most likely international, are different in terms of music, the popularity of songs and what the tastes are of each group of listeners. Maybe Dadri are more known to local Koreans, who knows, but we cannot just write them off as lesser known like they're from some Nugu small budgeted label. They're from a JYP sub-label and even if they may come off as lesser known, they're also just starting out, since they barely have about 5 songs total, and so we need to give it time for them to settle in. Maybe compared to other JYP groups they're not doing so well yet, but it could be because of their sound being traditional Korean music which again is not the average K-pop sound done often. Traditional Korean music is done here and there, but not in the way Dadri does it with the vocals too. And so Dadri may not be comparable in my opinion to a group like Twice who have done a lot of cute concept music which is already a normal thing in K-pop. Dadri's sound needs to settle in with the K-pop stans and you guys need to also look at other types of fans existing, because not everyone can be grouped together and different people exist. Dadri might be more known locally, again, I'm not sure about this so don't take it as fact, because the music is more common to Korean people and so Dadri may have their target audience within Korea. And that could most definitely be true because if you look at the popular indie band Sohyeon, the average K-pop stan may not know them, but it's to do with the fact that Sohyeon are more popular within indie spaces. Dadri could most definitely be the same, because what comes off as lesser known in some places comes more known to others in other spaces when you look for those other spaces. The last take is that, view-hungry fans annoy me, because what of the group are they really fans of, if they're just here to stream artists' music to make the song successful and to keep the artist relevant? Are they even listening to the song at least once to know what the song is and sounds like? Do view-hungry fans even remember parts of the song they're streaming or are they just blindly supporting music that they don't actually remember but they don't care as long as the artist is getting the views for it? What even is the point of being a fan of the artist then when you're not really being a fan of the artist? Your main goal is to be streaming every time a new song comes along, so how is that even being a fan of the artist if the song is secondary to you in comparison to the numbers you want the artist to have? These artists put out music for you guys, but you don't even notice the song. Streaming wouldn't be such an issue for me if you're actually listening to the music as well to appreciate the song to let it settle down before streaming, but no. Y'all are here to reduce artists to numbers and topics to potentially use against other fans, because I'm sure you guys stream not only for keeping the artist relevant but maybe also for using the artist as a weapon while dragging other artists. But even if you are doing that, what are you even trying to prove? That your artist is better while others are flops because you ruin your life streaming the artist. So your rubbing in other people's faces comes from you who is someone who doesn't actually care for the artist. If you did care and were truly fans of the artist, then you would see them as artists, but you don't. You were never real fans to begin with. And also, who's to say that you're real fans of the artist, because you may be just fans of the artist because they're popular. If they were not popular, you wouldn't dare to step near them. To you these people are not artists since take their popularity and give it to literally any other artist and you'd still be standing. It's not the artist, but rather their positioning and popularity. If someone else was in the same position your faves are in now, then it wouldn't make a difference because regardless of group, sound, music, whatever it is, you'd still stream. You're the type of person who sets streaming goals to reach within 24 hours, telling people in comments that emojis freeze views, spelling stream in comments with an @ sign instead of you using the letter A. Like a normal person, how can it be anything else other than the streaming? It's not like not streaming your faves automatically makes them or the song flop, because the group that you stan and stream are so popular that the streams of the song within 24 hours, despite not reaching the streaming goals, would still be more than some groups would get, even a fraction of, ooh, a line that is becoming a returning sentence in my takes videos. Why some of you are so obsessed with streaming because y'all are not listening to the song for enjoyment, and I don't even think there's even a sparkly shimmer in your eyes when it comes to your faves, because you're returning back to the song is only because the numbers could go even higher. And even when you're streaming, how do we know that you're even listening to the song then? Could it be some non-listening streaming method that you're doing, like listening to the song on mute on your devices while you do other things, for example, or something else where you don't have to really listen to the song at all? Either way, you're a fraud to the ones you call your faves, because every song released is just a numbers game to you. Maybe you're even the type of person to wanna stream a song so hard that it outbeats other tracks of the artist's discography, like a streaming till it's the most streamed of the artist thing. Any way you look at this, view-hungry fans will never truly appreciate music as much as they'll celebrate numbers on a screen that mean nothing if those go up, simply because some fans are crazy enough to stream these songs hard in various ways to get the views up.
I hope you live with peace now.